Everyone called him unsuccessful, but they didn't know the battles he had survived quietly, the victories no one could see. He woke before the alarm, as he had for years, not because he was disciplined, but because sleep no longer came easily once hope became expensive. The room was quiet, too quiet. A faint light fell through the window, touching the edges of his worn desk. Nothing in this small space suggested life was moving forward. And yet, he rose. Every morning felt the same. No applause, no recognition, no visible reward. The world saw a man who did nothing remarkable, someone average, forgettable. He didn't care what the world saw. He cared about something else, something invisible, consistency, effort, endurance. He poured coffee into a chipped mug. The steam rose like tiny clouds of hope. His hands were steady, though tired. His eyes scanned the empty desk. No letters, no reminders of achievement, nothing. And still, he walked to the corner of the room, began the same task he had done yesterday, and the day before, and the day before that. The world was already judging him, already labeling him, already measuring him by results alone. What they couldn't see, what no one could see, was the courage it took to keep going anyway. He left the apartment, stepping into streets that didn't notice him. People brushed past, talking about achievements, milestones, and headlines. He listened, he nodded, he smiled. They never asked about the work that had no audience. They never saw the small victories, a task completed without error, a promise kept to himself, a discipline maintained when no one else cared. And still, he persisted. Sometimes he stumbled, sometimes he failed, sometimes he left a meeting without recognition, a project unfinished, a goal unrealized. But he rose the next day, same room, same task, same invisible battle. Years passed, the world noticed nothing. People whispered, "He'll never succeed. Why does he even try?" And sometimes, in quiet moments, he believed it too. One afternoon, a young colleague approached him. "How do you keep going?" they asked, "when nothing seems to work?" He paused, not because he had an answer, but because no one had ever asked him that before. He realized something in the silence. All this time, he had been measuring himself in his own way, not by what the world could see, but by what he could endure, by how he could show up when no one else noticed, by how he could keep working when everything suggested quitting. He had survived years that would have broken louder, flashier, more celebrated people. He had carried disappointment without letting it poison him. He had learned patience the hard way, not through victory, but through persistence. The young colleague didn't understand fully, but it didn't matter. He had understood for himself. That night, he sat in his room, coffee cooling on the desk. He replayed years of quiet work, failures that never made the news, hours that went unappreciated, sacrifices that no one acknowledged. And yet, he smiled, not because he had won, not because the world had noticed, but because he had survived, because he had stayed faithful to the one person who mattered, himself. He realized that every task he completed, every challenge he endured, had built something invisible: patience, resilience, discipline, character, all the things that truly mattered. The world didn't measure them, but he could feel them. He could see them in the quiet growth of his own mind. Days went by, as they always did. People continued to celebrate visible winners. They continued to laugh at small failures. They continued to measure life in results, in applause and social proof. He watched them. He envied nothing. Sometimes he stumbled again. Sometimes a failure stung. Sometimes a project crumbled. But each time he learned. Each time he grew. His effort was invisible, but it was never meaningless, even when the world said otherwise. Years later, that same young colleague returned, now older, wiser, now seeing life's invisible struggles firsthand. "I finally understand," they said. "You weren't unsuccessful. You were unnoticed." For the first time, he smiled at the truth. Success isn't always measured by outcomes, not by applause, not by recognition. Sometimes success is measured quietly, by the courage to continue, by the resilience to persist, by the discipline to endure day after day, unseen. Slowly, he realized, we don't call people unsuccessful because they failed. We call them unsuccessful because we only respect visible outcomes. And in doing so, we miss the quiet strength it takes to keep going without proof. Effort is invisible, strength is invisible, but the person who endures quietly is never truly defeated.